Hi there, and welcome back to the sewing table. Today, we'll be making the summer dress, a simple but flattering dress pattern with a gently shaped bodice and subtle waist definition. Super comfy, totally customizable, and honestly, you probably won't stop at just one. We'll be using one of our patterns from Sewpronto. And if you love modern, minimalist sewing patterns like this one, don't forget to visit our website. These are all the materials you'll need to make the summer dress. Please refer to the Sewpronto instruction booklet to confirm your size and layout before cutting. For this version, we've chosen a lightweight rayon fabric with bold geometric prints. It drapes beautifully and gives the summer dress a soft, effortless silhouette. Not too clingy, not too stiff. The print adds a playful and modern vibe, especially when the dress moves or catches the light. The first thing you'll need to do is cut out your pattern pieces. Sewpronto's pattern includes a clear size chart and well-marked cutting lines for each size. Just choose the size that fits you best and carefully cut along the matching line. Once you've finished cutting, take a moment to double-check your notches. Having them marked clearly will make the next steps much easier. All right, let's start. Fold your fabric in half lengthwise with right sides together. Lay out the pattern pieces as shown in the booklet and pin or clip them in place. Be sure to cut along your selected size line. Once you're done cutting, you should have the following pieces: one front bodice, one back bodice, two sleeves, one front neck facing, one back neck facing, two neckties if making the tie neck version. Next, we'll prep the interfacing for the neckline and armholes. Cut lightweight fusible interfacing to match the front and back neckline armhole facing pieces. Then, fuse the interfacing to the wrong side of each facing piece using an iron. Make sure to press firmly and evenly so everything bonds well and stays in shape for the next steps. Now we're going to assemble the top part of the dress and prepare the neckline and armhole facings. Start by pinning and sewing the darts on the front bodice. Then, sew the shoulder seams of the front and back bodice. Next, join the shoulder seams of the neckline armhole facing pieces and press the seams forward. Finally, overlock or zigzag stitch along the bottom edges of the facing pieces, both front and back. After this step, the bodice is fully assembled and the facings are prepped with clean edges, ready to be attached to the neckline. Now we're sewing the neckline of the bodice. First, place the neckline/armhole facing onto the main bodice right sides together. Align the neckline edge carefully, then pin it in place. Stitch along the neckline using a straight stitch. After sewing, clip the seam allowance approximately every 1.5 centimeters to allow the curve to lay flat. Take care not to snip into the stitching. Now that we've finished the neckline, it's time to secure the facing with an understitch for a neat finish. Lay the neckline flat with the right side of the bodice facing up. Start stitching on the facing side, sewing a line 5 millimeters away from the neckline seam. As you sew, make sure to stitch through the facing and the clipped seam allowance only. Do not stitch through the outer bodice. This step secures the seam allowance and helps the neckline lay flat and clean. Here's the result. The neckline sits flat, smooth, and the facing stays tucked in beautifully. Now that the neckline is secured, let's get ready to sew the armhole using the burrito method. Instructions. Lay the bodice flat with the facing side up. From the right-hand side, roll the bodice tightly toward the left. Wrap the left armhole facing over the roll so right sides are together. Make sure the roll is fully enclosed and not caught in the seam. Align shoulder seams and notches, then pin the armhole securely. From the outside, it looks clean and neat. Everything's tucked inside, ready for stitching. Sew along the pinned armhole with a straight stitch. Clip the seam allowance every 2 centimeters to help the curve sit flat. Take care not to cut into the stitching. Once done, gently pull the rolled bodice out through the armhole to turn it right side out. Repeat the same process on the other armhole. Now, both armholes are neatly sewn and turned, clean, flat, and ready for the next step. Open up the armhole with the right side of the garment facing up. Starting from the shoulder area, slide just the facing section under the presser foot. Avoid including the main bodice. Stitch a straight line 5 millimeters away from the armhole seam. Make sure to sew only through the facing and clipped seam allowance. Do not stitch through the outer layer of the bodice. Once done, press the armhole again for a clean, professional finish. We're getting close to finishing the bodice. Let's stitch up the side seams. Place the bodice and facing right sides together and pin along both side seams. Make sure to align the underarm point carefully. It's where the bodice and facing meet. Then, sew a straight line from the overlocked edge of the facing all the way down to the bodice hem. Then, press the seam allowances toward the back. Also, fold the armholes neatly back into their finished position and press again. Now the sides are all joined and the bodice is really starting to take shape. To prevent the facing from flipping out during wear, we'll stitch it lightly along the side seams. With the right side of the dress facing up, start at each side seam. Begin your stitch slightly below the bust start and sew about 3 centimeters down along the seam. Pockets make everything better. Let's attach the pockets to the skirt panels. Place one pocket piece on each side seam of the front and back skirt panels, right sides together. Align the pocket opening notches, pin in place, then sew to attach. Now the pockets are securely attached to the skirt, ready for the next step of joining the side seams. Now let's sew the front and back skirt panels together and finish the pocket construction. Place the front and back skirt panels right sides together, aligning the side seams and pocket pieces. Pin along the side and around the pocket edges. Start sewing from the waist down to the top pocket notch, then backstitch to secure. Turn the fabric and sew around the pocket curve, following the shape. Then, continue sewing down the side seam to the hem. Lastly, sew a short straight line just inside the pocket seam to reinforce it. Don't forget to backstitch. Both skirt sides are now joined and the pockets are neatly enclosed. Great progress. Clip the seam allowances at the top and bottom of the pocket opening to make pressing easier. Now it's time to attach the skirt to the bodice. You're about to see your dress take shape. Increase your stitch length and sew 2 rows of gathering stitches 5 millimeters from the top edge of the skirt, dividing the skirt into 4 gathered sections between the side seams and center notches. Gently pull the threads to gather the skirt evenly until it matches the width of the bodice. Place the right side of the skirt against the right side of the bodice. Aligning notches and side seams, pin in place. Reduce the stitch length back to normal and sew 2 rows of straight stitches around the waistline from the skirt side. The double stitching adds strength to this thick seam. Now let's press the waist seam and prepare the skirt hem. We're at the final step. Let's sew the hem to finish your dress. Sew a straight line 4.5 centimeters from the folded edge, or according to the hem length you pinned earlier. Keep your stitch line smooth and even for a polished finish. And just like that, your summer dress is finished. It's a simple design, easy to personalize, and most importantly, it's handmade by you. Go ahead, try it on and admire your work. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to visit sewpronto.com to discover more beautiful beginner-friendly patterns. Thanks so much for sewing along with me, and I'll see you again in the next project.